Manager Du Qiang confirmed doing this. Watching Yumenglong in bedroom. The air around Tianyu Media had grown heavy, too heavy for comfort. Since the recovered phone footage and rooftop leak, everyone thought the case of Yumenglong's death had reached its darkest turn. But then a new file surfaced, one that ripped open a truth so twisted, even the most loyal fans struggled to breathe when they saw it. The file was simply named Camera Bedroom Feed _0411. Inside, grainy frames flickered, the faint hum of static. Then the lens focused on Yumenglong's bedroom, dimly lit by the soft blue glow of his aquarium. He sat on the edge of his bed, exhausted, unaware that hidden behind the mirror opposite him was a camera, one installed by the very man he trusted most, Du Qiang. The shocking leak. It was 2 a.m. when the footage leaked online, anonymously dropped into a foreign cloud server that vanished minutes later. Yet thousands had already seen enough. The camera angle didn't lie. Du Qiang's reflection appeared faintly in the glass, his face half-lit, watching. His breathing was audible in the background, a nervous, almost panicked rhythm. He whispered something, but the mic caught only fragments. "Don't go out tonight, they're waiting." Then, the lights flickered and MENGLONG turned, sensing something. His expression carried the same quiet dread that fans remembered from his final live stream, the one where he said, "Sometimes I feel like even walls have eyes." No one realized he meant it literally. The investigation turns personal. When police interrogated Du Qiang again, he denied everything. But when forensic analysts examined the recovered hard drive, they found 23 hidden camera feeds, each positioned in different parts of MENGLONG's apartment. The oldest file dated back months before his death. And in one of those recordings, Du Qiang could be seen entering the apartment while MENGLONG was asleep, moving quietly, checking his phone, and adjusting the hidden lens. His face looked both desperate and terrified, like someone forced to do something against his will. Rumors spread that Du Qiang wasn't alone, that he was being blackmailed by higher figures inside Tianyu Media to monitor the actor's loyalty. But it was what he whispered in that final footage that sent shivers across the fandom. "They told me to make sure he doesn't run." The unthinkable confession. When confronted with the new evidence, Du Qiang broke down in tears. He said, "I didn't want to. They said if I refused, I'd end up like him." Reporters claimed he named 2 executives, one already under investigation for money laundering through Tianyu's overseas branch. The story spread like wildfire. Fans outside Beijing's courthouse held signs reading, "Who was really watching Yumenglong? If Du Qiang was forced, who forced him?" A friend's testimony. Fan Shiqi, one of Yumenglong's closest friends, finally broke his silence in a secret interview. He said he once visited MENGLONG's apartment late at night and found Du Qiang sitting in the dark corner of the living room, staring at the blank TV screen. "He didn't even notice me come in," Fan recalled. "He just whispered, 'I can't protect him anymore.'" The next morning, MENGLONG sent Fan a cryptic message. "If anything happens, check the mirror." Those words now ring louder than any confession. The media firestorm. Every network wanted a piece of the story. Chinese tabloids splashed headlines like "Manager or Monster?" and "Who ordered the bedroom cameras?" The footage was blurred, but the emotions were raw. MENGLONG's trembling voice in one clip, begging someone unseen to let him go, left the internet broken. Fans began demanding justice not only for MENGLONG but for others rumored to have been monitored under the same contract loyalty system at Tianyu Media. Hashtags like #EyesOnTheWalls and #JusticeForMenglong dominated Weibo and X. The guilt behind the eyes. Du Qiang was later placed under psychological evaluation after suffering what sources called severe emotional collapse. Doctors said he kept muttering one phrase over and over. "He forgave me before he died." But no one knows how he could know that. Unless, perhaps, MENGLONG had sent him one last message, a message that never reached the public. Investigators retrieved a corrupted audio file from MENGLONG's phone that seemed to capture a heated conversation between him and Du Qiang. The restored fragment went viral. "MENGLONG, you said it was for my safety." Du Qiang, "It was at first. Then they changed everything. Menglong. Who are they, Qiang? Who are you working for? Silence. Then a faint sob. Du Qiang. I'm sorry. I didn't know they'd come that night. The words that night echo like thunder across the fandom, referring to the mysterious night when Yumenglong was last seen alive at his hotel, 9 floors above the city lights. A nation haunted. Public memorials for Menglong turned into candlelight protests. Fans played clips of his old dramas and wept as they replayed the same line again and again. The most painful betrayal comes from those you trust the most. Even foreign journalists covering the case described the mood as a cross between grief and quiet rebellion. Because if the cameras were real, and if Du Qiang's confession was true, then what happened to Yumenglong wasn't an accident. It was a coordinated silencing. The hidden file. Then came the twist no one saw coming. A cyber investigator in Taiwan claimed to have uncovered a missing folder on Menglong's phone, one encrypted under a strange title, Goodbye Qiang. Inside were short video clips, never meant to be seen by the public. In one of them, Menglong looks directly at the camera and says softly, "If you're watching this, I hope you remember me as someone who tried to stay kind, even when they watched me sleep." His eyes were swollen, red from exhaustion. Behind him, the faint reflection in the mirror showed a shadow, someone moving. Experts confirmed the timestamp, less than 24 hours before his death. Du Qiang's breakdown. During a court hearing weeks later, Du Qiang suddenly fainted after the prosecution played one of those clips. When revived, he whispered to his lawyer that he saw him, in a reflection again, Yumenglong, staring back at him. That moment became the most talked about scene on social media. Millions rewatched the court footage, analyzing every micro-expression, every tremor in Du Qiang's hands. Was it guilt or fear? Some say Du Qiang's mind finally broke. Others believe he was still being watched, still under the same invisible control that destroyed Menglong. The silent tape. 2 days after the hearing, a new file surfaced online. This time, it was only audio, no video, no metadata, just a voice whispering. Don't let them erase him. The truth is buried in the walls. Analysts confirmed the voice matched Du Qiang's. The timing of the upload, minutes before his disappearance, sparked another wave of theories. Where was he now? Did someone silence him too? Authorities announced he had been relocated for his safety, but no one believed it. The emotional fallout. At Menglong's memorial site, fans left mirrors wrapped in white cloth, symbolizing the invasion of his privacy and the reflection that exposed it all. Some even brought miniature cameras and shattered them in front of his photo as a statement against surveillance culture. Among them was Fan Shiqi, eyes swollen with grief. He placed a note at the base of the candles that read, "He trusted you, Qiang. We all did." The vanishing of Du Qiang. When the news broke that Du Qiang had disappeared, Beijing froze. 1 minute, he was under state protection. The next, his hotel room stood empty. No sign of struggle, no luggage, no security footage showing him leave. The bed was still warm, the bathroom light still on. But on the mirror, written faintly in condensation, were the words, "He's still watching." Detectives stood stunned. The handwriting was shaky, but unmistakably his. Cameras in the hallway had been looping the same 10 seconds of footage all night. Someone had hacked the feed. Someone wanted him gone. The search that led nowhere. Police dogs traced Du Qiang's scent through a back service exit that led into a narrow alley behind the hotel. There, investigators found a discarded phone, cracked, scorched, but still functional enough to reveal one last voice memo. The file was titled simply, "For him." A trembling whisper filled the static. "They said it's over, but I see him in every reflection. He forgave me once. I can't forgive myself. If you find this, tell him I'm sorry." Then silence. And in the background, a faint tap, tap, tap. 3 knocks, slow and deliberate. The same sound heard in the EVP recording recovered weeks earlier from Yumenglong's phone. The mirror theory. Netizens began piecing together patterns. Fans replayed every video leak, matching sounds and reflections, believing Du Qiang might have been communicating from inside the same network that once spied on Menglong. Conspiracy channels called it the mirror loop, a term that exploded across Weibo overnight. One tech analyst claimed that each camera in Menglong's apartment had been part of a closed mirror surveillance grid, an AI system designed to track emotional behavior for contract stability. The system's codename, Project Echo, and the project leader, according to leaked corporate emails, was none other than Du Qiang's direct superior, a name that had mysteriously vanished from Tianyu Media's employee records. Fan Shiqi's discovery. Unable to stay silent, Fan Shiqi broke back into Menglong's old apartment with a small camera crew. The place had been sealed for months, untouched since forensic teams left. As they stepped inside, a cold draft swept through the living room, knocking over a framed photo of Menglong and Du Qiang smiling together. Fan whispered, "He always said the air here felt wrong." They started scanning the walls for any remaining devices. Behind the bedroom mirror, hidden in a hollow section of the wall, they found a second miniature camera, still running. Its red light flickered like a heartbeat. When they played the feed, the screen showed real-time footage of them standing there. Someone somewhere was still watching. Fan Shiqi turned pale and pulled the plug. But before the signal cut, a final frame flashed on the monitor. Du Qiang's face, staring back, eyes wide, whispering something no one could decipher. The leaked CCTV. Days later, the full video leaked. Experts confirmed it was filmed the night before Du Qiang vanished. He sat alone in a small, dim room, walls covered in silver insulation panels, cameras pointed at him from every angle. He muttered to himself, "I did what they asked. I kept him alive as long as I could. They wanted his fear, not his talent. They're going to erase everything." Then he turned toward the camera and said softly, "He's coming." The feed ended abruptly with a flicker of static and the faint outline of another figure stepping into frame, a silhouette with the same build as Yumenglong. The public eruption. When the footage hit the internet, chaos followed. Millions reposted it within hours. Protests reignited outside Tianyu Media headquarters. Fans carried mirrors painted black, chanting, "No more ghosts in glass." The government issued statements calling the leaks fabrications, but the damage was done. Tianyu Media's stock crashed overnight. The company's executives locked their accounts and fled public view. And then something stranger happened. Anonymous emails began landing in journalists' inboxes, each containing fragments of a conversation between Du Qiang and the same corporate directors who ordered the surveillance. One line stood out. "If he won't renew the contract, make him stay, alive or not." The hotel revelation. A new witness emerged, the night guard at the hotel where Du Qiang was supposedly protected. He confessed that on the night of the disappearance, 4 men in plain suits entered the building through the loading dock carrying a crate labeled audio equipment. When they left an hour later, the crate was empty. No one saw Du Qiang again. But a worker cleaning the service elevator 2 days later found a thin silver bracelet wedged in the corner, the same bracelet Du Qiang was known to wear, engraved with 2 small initials, YUMENG. The ghost feed. A week after the vanishing, a live-stream channel appeared briefly on a dark web forum. The feed was grainy, looping, and silent, until minute 12, when a shadowed figure walked into frame and whispered, "He forgave me, but they never will." Analysts identified the figure as Du Qiang. Behind him, blurred by static, a second form could be seen reflected in a cracked mirror, a man in a white shirt with faint bruises on his arms. Viewers swore it was Yumenglong. The stream went offline seconds later. Every attempt to trace the IP failed. Fan Shiqi's collapse. When Fan Shiqi saw the footage, he reportedly fainted on set. He told close friends later that he'd been receiving strange messages from an unlisted number, voice notes of faint breathing and tapping. He changed phones twice. Still, the messages came. In one of them, a whisper said, "Tell him, I'm still watching." Fan now travels with bodyguards and avoids interviews. But insiders claim he's writing a secret memoir, one that will expose everything Du Qiang revealed before his disappearance. A nation in mourning. The public remains divided. Some say Du Chong was silenced to protect the powerful. Others believe he took his own life out of guilt. But to MENGLONG's fans, the truth has already been spoken. In every reflection, every leaked clip, every whispered apology. They gather nightly at the memorial wall outside Tianyu Media, leaving flowers, mirrors, and phones playing his last live stream. The sound of his laughter echoes softly through the crowd, followed by the line that has become a mantra. They can watch, but they can't erase. As candles flicker against the glass doors, one fan notices something strange. Her phone camera, pointed toward the building, briefly catches a reflection, a man's silhouette standing in the top-floor window, hand raised as if in farewell. When she zooms in, the figure is gone. The echo lives on. Weeks later, Tianyu Media announced its permanent restructuring. Most of its digital archives were deleted, but the Echo system servers couldn't be found. Some say they were wiped clean. Others believe they were sold to another studio, rebranded and reactivated. And every now and then, late at night, random users across Asia report the same eerie glitch on their screens. A flicker of static, then a faint image of a young man in a white shirt, looking directly into the camera, silently mouthing a single word. Enough.